Tragedy strikes when a train crashes into a bus full of people in Mississippi. The latest as investigators begin to piece together exactly what led to that deadly crash. Plus, one man in custody accused of sending threats to Jewish community centers across the nation. Who he is and why police say he is the man responsible. As we get started on this Wednesday, March 8th, 2017. This is News Press Now, Morning Edition on Fox 26 KNPN. I'm Alex Wood.
And I'm Molly Bernard.
4 people are dead, dozens more injured when a freight train crashed into a charter bus in Biloxi, Mississippi yesterday. Stopping our look at stories that are making headlines this morning, officials say the bus was carrying 48 people and was traveling from Austin, Texas when it was hit by the train just after 2 p.m. local time. Officials say senior groups from Texas were on the charter bus, which was heading from a casino in Bay St. Louis, Mississippi to a casino in Biloxi at the time of that crash. Officials say the train pushed the charter bus about 300 feet down the tracks. Witnesses say it appears the bus became stuck on the tracks. National Transportation Safety Board says it is sending a team to investigate that crash. Threats to Jewish community centers, schools, and Anti-Defamation League offices caused a flurry of police activity yesterday. 14 bomb threats made by phone or email in 10 states, bringing the total since January to 135. During his daily briefing yesterday, the White House press secretary said President Trump denounces the latest threats against Jewish centers, saying the administration will look for ways to stop them. A man accused of making some of the threats to Jewish community centers and synagogues nationwide expected in court today. 30-year-old Juan Thompson, former journalist fired last year for allegedly making up quotes and sources, was arrested in St. Louis last week. Federal agents say Thompson called or emailed Jewish institutions across America, including the Anti-Defamation League. He is facing a federal cyberstalking charge.
There were some frightening moments at a Southern California strip mall when a section of roof came crashing down yesterday afternoon. Security camera video captured the exact moment the incident happened in front of a clothing store in Carson. You can see workmen outside the store barely cleared the area before the roof gave way. Everyone inside the store managed to get out safely. Fortunately, no one was injured. St. Joseph police responded to the area of 29th and Lafayette Streets after receiving a call of shots fired. Officers are still putting together the pieces, but it appears a man may have attempted to steal property from a nearby home when someone opened fire on his vehicle yesterday afternoon. Witnesses say they heard someone yell at the man to stop and then heard 3 shots. Police are looking for a small black 4-door car that may have bullet holes in it. There are no reports of injuries.
St. Joseph Police Department is proud of the low number of traffic fatalities in the city for 2016. Police Department reported just 1 such incident last year, the lowest total of crash-related deaths in 15 years. And those in charge say putting an extra emphasis on reducing impaired driving has helped. Traffic Unit Sergeant Chris McBain says most fatalities are caused by alcohol or lack of seatbelt use. He added they're working toward an ultimate goal of 0 deaths in a year.
It's something we're very, very proud of. Like I said, we worked really hard last year on increasing our traffic safety awareness and targeting specific areas where we have more traffic crashes as a whole. So it was nice to see that our hard work kind of had a payoff.
St. Joseph was one of the few areas in which fatalities were down in Missouri. The state as a whole is on the rise for that. So far in 2017, there has been 1 traffic fatality here, but it was not caused by alcohol or lack of seatbelt use. Last month, a woman suffered a medical episode, passed out at the wheel, and struck a tree. Cleanup continues after severe storms moved through the area Monday. The storms causing wind and hail damage, as well as 37 tornadoes across the Midwest.
Families in one local community spending the day yesterday dealing with the aftermath of one of those tornadoes. Nathan Elgren was in Clinton County and files this report.
Some kaboom. Them bay windows come in and roof went off, and then all hell broke loose for a few minutes.
Families from Clinton County endured a living nightmare Monday night after an EF2 tornado with winds up to 130 miles per hour created a trail of destruction between Smithville and Lathrop. The windy storm knocked down numerous power lines, ripped up entire trees, and was so strong that it tossed this now mangled scoreboard about 200 feet away from its original location. Since Lathrop School District canceled class due to power outages, a group of football players from the high school decided to pitch in and help.
Coach sent out a text message to everybody and said, hey, let's get together, meet at the high school, let's go pick up some stuff and help the town out.
Charlie Kellum's wife, Bonnie, was one of 4 people from the area that suffered minor injuries, and Kellum said the only thing that saved their lives was a nearby cell phone.
I couldn't get up, and I couldn't get her up, and I thought, where's that cell phone. And I reached over and I felt it. And I punched in my son and I told him that we were pinned. And he said, I'll be right there.
A preliminary damage report that was conducted by Clinton County's Emergency Management Office concluded that at least 40 homes received light damage, 17 homes had minor damage, and that 15 structures were completely destroyed. One of those homes belonged to the Gaines family, who hid in their basement when the tornado hit.
We shut the door behind us and the house just disappeared over the top of us. There was a green safe, you can't see it right now, but there was a gun safe that moved forward on the floor, and then a steel door fell on top of it, and it just made an A-frame, and we happened to be right underneath that. And that saved our lives.
Those impacted by the severe storm started salvaging their belongings and cleaning up Tuesday with the help from friends and family. And when disaster strikes, an outpouring of support shortly follows.
You know, you do unto others what others do unto you, and it will return.
Nathan Elgren, News Press Now.
Missouri American Water says all water from its pipe once again safe to drink after the second large-scale boil advisory in a week has been lifted. The utility lifted that advisory that was impacting more than 7,000 customers in St. Joseph and surrounding areas. A related boil advisory in DeKalb County also lifted yesterday. The boil advisory due to a water main break underground forced some schools in St. Joseph to bring in bottled water this week. Last week's boil order led to classes being canceled last Friday. There are no reports of actual water contamination from either boil advisory.
A federal agency plans to send inspectors to the Cooper nuclear power plant next week after errors in a safety system were discovered at that Nebraska plant last month. The Nuclear Regulatory Commission says the problem is linked to a system that removes heat from the unit, helping workers in the event of an accident. An inspection team will begin Monday and will release a report sometime in the next 2 months. The local chapter of the American Red Cross of Northwest Missouri is celebrating 100 years of service and hosting a centennial blood drive tomorrow in honor of the occasion. The blood drive will be held at the local offices at 12th and Farron. The goal is to have 100 donors in honor of the centennial. The local chapter was established in 1917, and throughout the years, the organization says the mission has remained largely the same.
People would say that the Red Cross probably has changed over the last 100 years, but really it's not. Our mission and vision still has remained the same, to provide help and hope to people on the worst day of their lives.
A blood drive will be held from 8 o'clock in the morning until 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon at the local chapter. Other events are also planned throughout the year to celebrate the centennial.
Plans to bring a new senior living campus to East St. Joseph appear to be moving along. AmeriCare Senior Living is proposing an assisted living center, a memory care facility, and independent cottages with a clubhouse. The Sykeston, Missouri company says the project will cost about $11 million. AmeriCare is expected to break ground on the 48 acres at the southwest corner of Bishop and Genefield Roads this winter. Once open, the campus will employ 30 full and part-time caregivers, 4 licensed nurses, and an executive director. Gunmen storm a hospital in Afghanistan, sparking an intense battle and confusion. We'll return the latest as the situation continues to unfold in the war-torn country. Plus, how your friends may be affecting your health. Why eating with them could be destroying your diet. Those stories and more when we return. Stay with us. At least 10 people have died and another 27 injured in Ecuador after an interprovincial bus fell off a 10-meter cliff near Quito yesterday. According to a preliminary report from the National Police, the bus apparently crossed the road and collided with a van before falling into that ravine. Gunmen, including at least one dressed as a doctor, attacked a military hospital in an area close to the U.S. Embassy in the Afghan capital of Kabul today. Security forces were surrounding the 400-bed hospital where an explosion was reported earlier. A worker at the hospital said he saw one gunman dressed in a white doctor's coat take out a concealed AK-47 and then open fire, killing at least one patient, one hospital worker. But it also heard firing from several other points in the hospital. The attack comes just a week after dozens of people were killed and wounded in coordinated attacks on a police station and an office of the intelligence service in Kabul. That attack was claimed by Taliban insurgents. U.S. general in the international coalition in Iraq says ISIS forces defending western Mosul are disorganized and some foreign fighters are trying to leave the city now. Iraqi forces recaptured the eastern half of Mosul in January after 100 days of fighting and launched an attack on districts lying west of the Tigris River on February 19th. General Eisler said ISIS operational leaders and foreign fighters were withdrawing from the battlefield, leaving local militants to fend off advances by Iraqi forces.
Daesh knew the game was up. The first folks that led were their leadership. Their operational leaders fled. The second was the foreign fighters. The foreign fighters said, hey, local fighters, you fight it out, I'm going to go over here. We are already seeing that happen. We're already seeing the operational leadership. One, many of those were put to rest even before the operation began. Others have already started moving, and we've seen indications that foreign fighters are starting to move. So that creates a couple of dynamics. It means the fighters that are out front are less effective. It means there are less of them, and it also means that they're going to continue fighting among themselves just like they have. So what we're seeing is that's one reason that we're seeing a disorganized resistance.
Coalition airstrikes in the run-up to the start of the attack on the West have made a significant impact on the course of the battle. Many of the Islamic State's operational leaders were killed before Iraqi forces began attacking the West. China is urging South Korea to suspend the deployment of the U.S. Terminal High Altitude Area Defense, or THAAD, anti-missile system. Speaking at a news conference in Beijing today, China's foreign minister called the deployment a wrong choice, saying it was the biggest problem hurting relations between China and South Korea. U.S. missile launchers and other equipment needed for the system arrived in South Korea on Monday. Washington and Seoul say it's a defensive measure only and not meant to be a threat to Beijing or Moscow. U.S. military says THAAD can intercept and destroy short and medium-range ballistic missiles during the last part of their flights. China is opposed to the system, saying it would allow U.S. radar to peer deep into its territory and monitor its flights and missile launches. Members of Congress have started an investigation into Russian influence in U.S. elections, and a Missouri senator is playing a part. Republican Roy Blunt sits on the Senate Intelligence Committee, and he believes that remains the proper place for getting to the truth. Investigation arises from alleged computer hacking by Russians during last fall's campaign and President Trump's claim that former President Obama had his phones tapped. Blunt said he felt the Senate panel could get answers that would satisfy the American public. The issue arose yesterday at a confirmation hearing for an assistant attorney general. Republicans and Democrats expressing opposing views.
Unlike special counsels, congressional and IG investigations can get the facts and present them to the public. So the notion that somehow a special counsel will bring facts to light just isn't true.
A special prosecutor should lead this investigation. I believe it should be a respected prosecutor, someone free of any partisan or political background, someone who has a reputation for integrity and impartial decision-making, and who is independently selected, not by the Attorney General.
For more on this, you can check out today's edition of the St. Joseph News Press. The effort to repeal and replace Obamacare continues. On Monday, congressional Republicans released their plan for a replacement for the Affordable Care Act. Proposal was met with a mixed reaction from both the left and the right. Today, the House Energy and Commerce Committee and the House Ways and Means Committee will debate the bill. It is believed this may be the only chance to alter it. In medical news this morning, across the U.S., sexually transmitted diseases are at an all-time high. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the rate of syphilis among American women increased 27% from 2014 to 2015. That means more infants are being born with the disease. Kim Hutcherson has that in today's Health Minute.
Increasing numbers of babies across the United States are being born with syphilis. That's according to new data from the CDC. The rate of congenital syphilis, meaning the disease is present from birth, increased by 6% in the U.S. between 2014 and 2015, and the trend looks set to continue. Preliminary data shows rates of congenital syphilis, or CS, went up another 4% last year. The situation is worst in Louisiana, where 83 out of every 100,000 babies born have the disease. Congenital syphilis can have serious health effects. It can cause premature birth or low birth weight. It can also cause miscarriage, stillbirth, or death shortly after a baby is born. Newborns with CS can have rashes, anemia, an enlarged liver or spleen, brain and nerve problems, or deformed bones. Health officials say several factors could be contributing to the rise in CS rates, such as lack of prenatal care, poverty, and a reduced use of condoms. CDC officials say the rise in syphilis and other STD cases is partially due to budget cuts in state and local STD programs, which have resulted in diminished access to medical services. For today's Health Minute, I'm Kim Hutcherson.
There's some news for you. We're more likely to blow our diet when eating with others. A new University of Pittsburgh study followed 150 people who were trying to lose weight. The dieters had a 60% chance of overeating in a social setting, especially a restaurant. But having company during meals wasn't the only diet risk. They admitted to overindulging almost half the time they dined alone. So I'm not sure what point that study has. Very few baby boomers are getting screened for Hep C. Despite recommendations, they have a one-time test. New data shows only 14% of boomers were tested last year, up from 12% in 2013. Baby boomers make up 80% of the more than 3 million cases of hepatitis C in the U.S., but most are unaware they even have that infection. Gentle sound stimulation could improve deep sleep and memory in older adults. Researchers at Northwestern synced acoustic noise to the brain waves of 13 seniors as they slept. Next morning, their memory scores were 3 times higher than the night before. This technique is currently being tested in patients already diagnosed with memory loss. New Disney film Beauty and the Beast is creating some controversy, and a young movie star is getting a new role. We're going to have that and more in today's Hollywood Minute, but before we do it, we are going to take a look at your forecast for what's shaping up to be a beautiful day ahead. Certainly looking beautiful right now. It is 7:17. We'll be right back.
Good Wednesday morning. A cold start across the area. Temperatures right around 29 degrees with wind chill sitting right at 25 as those winds come in out of the northeast at just about 3 miles per hour. So the wind not too bad this morning. Unfortunately, it is looking like that is going to change here over the next couple of hours. But the good news is we're going to see a lot of sunshine across the area for the entire day today, helping temperatures climb into the upper 60s. So even warmer than what we saw yesterday. Tomorrow looking great as well, but the changes are going to come as we head into the early morning hours on Friday. A little bit of cloud cover moving in, so Friday it looks like we'll see partly cloudy to mostly cloudy skies for most of the day and much cooler temperatures across the area. Then we're going to track some very big changes as we head into the early morning hours on Saturday, however. So this is 7:30 on Saturday morning, and you can see some light to moderate rain or snowfall, however, just off towards our north. And it's this system that is looking like it's going to bring us a chance to see some accumulating snow here as we head into the first half of the weekend. By 1 o'clock, that snow slowly starting to come to an end, but it's important to keep in mind that a lot can change between now and Saturday. We could see our temperatures increase just a little bit, which would turn most of this into rain, or we could see the temperatures decrease. A lot can happen here. We could see the entire system move one way or another. So that's something that we'll keep an eye on. A little too early to talk about snowfall totals here as we head towards the weekend. That's something we'll continue to keep an eye on and give you more updated information here over the next couple of days. But for the day today, snow not going to be an issue. It's going to be pretty nice out there. Another windy day, however. We'll see high temperatures climbing close to 67 degrees. Winds as high as about 18 miles per hour by 3 o'clock. Gusting as high as about 25. So not quite as breezy as what we saw yesterday, but another windy day. That's prompting another red flag warning going into effect at 11 o'clock across all of these counties shaded in pink, lasting until 6. So once again, avoid outdoor burning. Any fire that does spark for the day today is going to be able to spread very quickly across the region. Then overnight tonight, temperatures falling close to 39 degrees. The winds calming down just a little bit, coming in out of the southwest between about 5 and 10 miles per hour. And finally, tomorrow, it looks like those winds are going to stay relatively calm as we head into the afternoon hours. Coming in out of the north between about 5 and 10, but even with northerly winds, temperatures still climbing close to 71 degrees. Sunny and warm conditions for the day tomorrow, but then some big temperature changes for Friday. We'll see high temperatures just climb close to 43 degrees. And it's looking like we'll see quite a bit of cloud cover across the area. Then as we head towards the weekend, temperatures falling into the 30s on Saturday with that chance to see some snow across the area. Then the next system moving in Sunday night, bringing another chance to see some snow overnight Sunday night through the early morning hours on Monday. And here's a viewer picture of the library down in Atchison that did see some damage as those storms rolled through on Monday. You can, from G.B. Smith, our director's father, and then you can see, go ahead and send us pictures. It was a beautiful sunrise this morning. We'd love to see what you saw. Right now at 7:21, stay with us. We'll be right back after the break.
Some fans of Beauty and the Beast may not be old enough to see the tale as old as time.
David Daniel explains in today's Hollywood Minute.
No one Russian kids who want to see the new Beauty and the Beast are out of luck. The country's culture ministry has rated the movie 16+, meaning only people over 16 will be admitted to theaters. A far-right Russian lawmaker called the film gay propaganda because one character happens to be gay.
Crazy in love, got me looking so crazy in love.
50 Shades Darker star Dakota Johnson is going from the bedroom to the courtroom. She's signed to star in Unfit, about a woman in the 1920s who was sterilized at age 18 under a law that allowed the procedure to be forced on undesirable people. The woman sued and took her case all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court.
City of stars, are you shining just for me?
Ryan Gosling looked to the stars in La La Land and wound up at the Academy Awards. Now he and his director will try for a repeat by shooting for the moon. First Man, directed by Damien Chazelle, has landed an Oscars-friendly release date of October 12, 2018. Gosling stars in the biopic as Neil Armstrong, the first man to walk on the moon. Now that's aiming high. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Apparently that is the only scene from the movie La La Land that was released to the media to play ever. I have seen that scene so many times just working on this show. It's made me not ever want to see the movie.
And you comment on it every single time we play.
I'm tired of seeing it. Show me any other scene, please. Any other scene would work for me. I don't know what the deal is. All right, here's something that makes me happy. Breaking out of their supporting roles, mascots duke it out on a Florida beach. Before the race, the athletes had the chance to check out the competition. A shark, a turtle, a cat, even that Chick-fil-A cow, a running shoe, which you'd think would have a natural advantage.
But running on soft sand isn't really all that easy. Giving it their all, the mascots took off across the white sand beaches of Siesta Key. In the end, it was Scully, the mascot for the 2017 World Rowing Championship, who flew to first place. The event helped raise money for the Monty Marine Lab, however, a nonprofit organization which does research and provides protection for the Suncoast's sea turtles.
Well, so in that instance, you would kind of be pulling for the turtle, wouldn't you?
I would think so.
Well, since
I guess
he's
that
raising
makes
money
sense.
for sea turtles, but it appeared it was a cow that won, or a bull, I think. I think that was the rowing mascot, which doesn't make any sense to me at all. And there's the poor shoe who came in dead last. Yeah, that's a bull or something, right?
Something,
I think he won something. So you agree that it's something?
It's something.
Good. Molly and I are in agreement that it is indeed something. But yeah, I think the guy here in the green on the left, I think he's the one who actually pulls it out in the end, and I do believe he is a bull. And the running shoe just pitifully kind of scampers
I do
across
think that the running shoe was at a steep disadvantage.
Yes, it's the only one that doesn't have like pants or shorts or something.
Yes.
He's got his legs are hitting the tongue of that shoe or whatever that is, the front of the shoe. So, I think he got kind of a raw deal.
He should get some points for trying.
He should get some points for trying, absolutely. I'm sorry, our director was talking to us incessantly. I had about 3 paragraphs of information to give me in my ear here. So we want to talk about weather for just a second.
Yeah, a beautiful start to the day. A little on the chilly side, so grab that coat here before you head out the door. But a beautiful sunrise this morning, and we'll see temperatures this afternoon climb into the upper 60s across the area.
All right, shaping up to be a beautiful day. Stay with us. We're back with more news and weather on the other side of the break. It's 7:27. Don't go away.